Right. Let's do this.
What?
Oh, I just took a deep breath. All I heard was. What is going on, people of YouTube? My name is Kurtyoy, and welcome back to another video. I slightly went Australian there, and today we're just going to be discussing Game Week 1. Anything to do with that. I really messed the intro up. I didn't really do it like I normally do. And as always, my co-host. No, I wouldn't really call him a co-host. I wouldn't really call myself a host. I'd just call us two people chatting shit about football and then actually recording it and putting it on the internet. But I'm joined usually, like I usually am, with Joe on my side. Say hello.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Good, mate, geezer. How's the kids? How's the kids?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good myself, you know. Just joining in with this Australian intro, because that seems to be what we're doing nowadays.
Anyway, mate, we've got to get on with the video, so cut the chit-chat and let's get straight into it.
That was
awful.
scouse.
Yeah, that was meant to be scouse. But
Right.
Today we are going to be discussing everything to do with Game Week 1, all the transfers, and then, if we've got time, any possible transfers going along in the gossip columns of BBC Sport or anything in the rumour mill of any other website. And I feel like there's a lot of places where you could start. There's loads of different managers. First of all, you've got Ronald Koeman coming in. Moisey is back. Pep Guardiola is in the Premier League finally. Jose Mourinho is back. We've got Antonio Conte. We've got a massive goal fest. But where it deserves to start, I think, every season is with the champions. Like at Wimbledon, every year the champion comes out as a first game to be played at Wimbledon. Same, it should be a football, and they've done this year, and it didn't end too well for Leicester. Hull City, with 13 first-team players fit, 2 of which were goalkeepers, 11 outfield players, managed to beat Leicester 2-1. And there's a lot of things that can be said about this, but how much did Leicester miss Kante is the first question, and I think it was a substantial amount. They didn't have that player running around. Andy King is not Antonio Conte is not Mr. N'Golo Kante. But I'll pass over to you. Where do you think it went wrong for Leicester the weekend?
Well, I think the question is more, where didn't it go wrong? I mean, their passes were going astray off the pitch. They weren't the same attacking threat as they were last season. Musa, although he looked very quick, he doesn't look like he's got the physical strength to actually strive in the Premier League. Jamie Vardy was off target. Mahrez didn't look like he wanted to be there. Their defence looked a little bit fragile. It's not the ideal start for Leicester. They certainly missed Kante, and their replacement for Kante, I believe his name's Mendy, wasn't even on the pitch. He didn't feature throughout the entire game.
Well, he wasn't even on the bench, I
didn't think so. No. Wasn't even in the squad. So it could be injured, but I'm not 100% sure. But, you know, they certainly missed something. If it was Kante, I don't know, but it could be coming in the future is if they lose Mahrez and Vardy, they're going to struggle.
Well, I think Vardy, after he signed the contract in the summer, they're pretty much secure about keeping him, which is a big bonus, because if they do lose Mahrez, and they do lose maybe 1 or 2 more players, they could be destined to relegation. I'm not saying anything else. I mean, I know you think Leicester are going to be finishing right down the table, but no, Mahrez just looked as if, you know, he didn't want to be there. After the match, everyone on Leicester was, you know, thanking everyone on the pitch, congratulating Hull, and then saying thanks to the fans for appearing. Mahrez straight down the tunnel. It's another thing that says all is not well with Riyad Mahrez, even though they can insist they don't sell their big players. It's only going to end one way in the end, and I feel like Mahrez, what would you rather have? Would you rather keep an unhappy player, or would you rather have you know, let him go, get the money, and try and sign someone else? He's an extraordinary talent, and he will be missed, but I feel like if he's going to look distant like that and not really have too much care for the result and his performance, then he needs to go. But I think there's not much Leicester can say apart from Hull played better. Hull had, you know, they can. One thing I've seen a lot of Leicester fans that have, you know, congratulated Hull, said they're the better team. I've seen quite a few on Twitter say, "Oh, we were missing because we haven't really signed anyone to replace Kante. We didn't have Rob Hoof at the back. Everything went wrong." They're forgetting that they played a Hull side with their whole squad basically injured. They had Jake Livermore in centre-back. They had a centre-back to replace him. They had Sam Klukas, a attacking winger/striker, in holding midfield. In what if Sam Klukas can do a job in where N'Golo Kante would feature? How can Leicester not find one with their 7 or 8 central midfielders at the club? It's beyond me. It's beyond me.
It doesn't look good for Leicester, and I have said it from the start about them finishing lower in the table, and I do think it's going to happen. I'm holding to my guns with that one. That is my main prediction that I think it could happen. Tottenham winning the league starting to go off a little bit now because Lloris is injured. So, but anyway, they haven't signed the right players, and I think that Mahrez is a player that had a good sort of... he's had one good season and an okay half season, and all of a sudden he's worth 30-40 million. I mean, I'm someone that doesn't agree with that, because I think, you have a good half season, you shouldn't be worth that much. It'll be interesting to see when he does move if he is actually any good. That's the main thing, because you can have a good season where you're playing consistently well and you're one of the best, you're one of the best players in the league, but next season you could be absolutely diabolical and you just go off the radar completely. I can think of many players like that in the past. A lot of young players as well. I mean, I know Mahrez isn't young, but you think of all the young players in the past, usually Man United, for example, Federico Makeda.
What's a player?
Had a good half season or so for Man United, then went off the radar, and now he's playing in the Championship, I believe.
I think he's pretty sure he's still at Cardiff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's even on the bench at Cardiff, which is even
a
worse.
A better example would be Mr. Golden Boy himself. 2 goals against the team he now is playing for, Adnan Januzaj.
No, okay.
Because he came on for his first appearance, scored those 2 pretty decent goals against Sunderland. All of a sudden, Januzaj this, Januzaj that. Hopefully he'll play for England. Now it's don't choose England, mate. You ain't got a chance.
Yeah.
How time can change.
I don't know what happened to Januzaj, but then again, we've always said that he didn't really look like he was good enough.
Yeah, I suppose.
And then, but the other one, Marvin Sordell as well, which
Marvin Sordell,
a forgotten man. Yeah, it was meant to be the next big thing, wasn't he, at Bolton? Then he moved down the leagues. Niall Ranger, he's another one.
Oh goodness
Both of them down in
Christ.
League One. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. Mahrez, it'll be interesting to see if he's actually any good at another club. That's what I think, anyway.
I think he'll
Same
still
with
have
Vardy as well.
He'll still have the quality because he's got the pace and he's got the skill, and I think pace and skill is enough to outfox a lot of defenders. And if you come up against a player like, let's say, Ivanovic, who maybe hasn't got the legs, consistently anymore, you get one-on-one with John Terry, those sort of players are going to run rings around them all game. But it'll be interesting because I feel like Leicester might have to keep hold of Mahrez. If they don't, they need to find a replacement that is good and spend that amount of money back into the club, because in Kante they got 30 million. They should have tried to reinvest it with a signing worth that much. Instead, they brought someone in unproven. Yes, it worked for Kante, but lightning doesn't strike twice.
Unless you're Southampton.
Unless you're Southampton, who have sold your whole squad. But that is run so well, though. Give credit to Southampton. It's run so well.
I don't know how they've done that over these past few years.
I can't think of any signings in the last few years that have got wrong and haven't played very well besides Mayo Yoshida. I don't even know how
he's been a good squad player. He's been a good squad player.
That and the fact that usually you get the odd blip in managers. Nigel Atkins was brilliant. Pochettino was brilliant, Koeman was brilliant, and I'm almost sure Mr. Claude Puel, or however you say his name, will be pretty decent at Southampton as well, so that's worth noting. But again, straying off topic, Hull played well, and the master tactician itself, Mike Phelan. Mike Phelan? That sounds wrong. Mike Phelan is right. So I thought I was a referee for a minute. It just shows that he was at United for so many years of Sir Alex Ferguson for a reason, and I would like to see him get the first team job now, to see what he can do this season, because no manager's going to go in there in their right mind unless they are desperate for a job. Give him the job for a season, see how he does, let him bring in his own players, and I think Hull could stand a fighting chance of surviving, personally.
I think if they've got Mike Phelan in there, a man that probably knows the club quite well, he's going to be their best option to keep them up this season. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, if rumours are true about Gianfranco Zola, then just fuck me. Give up.
Zola's a decent manager, but you don't need him. What they need is someone that knows the Premier League, someone that knows the club, and Mike Phelan is clearly the perfect man for the job.
And he's got loads of experience in the Premier League as well. And
Yeah,
also
exactly.
with Sir Alex, he'll have Sir Alex on the phone. Oh, by the way, I've got a problem with this. What's the thing? Oh, just get your hairdryer out and smack him in the face with a boot. Oh, cheers,
Yeah.
Sir Alex. But I think you've discussed enough. Leicester could be a worrying season for them if they don't sign in the market for me. Hull could be a worrying season if they don't sign in the market for me. I think that sums up both their seasons, personally.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And there is a big game between one London club and another, but I'm leaving that until the end just so I can let Mr. Joe Gingy X off his leash. But we're going to move on now to Pep Guardiola versus David Moyes. What could have been a few years ago Manchester United versus Manchester City is now Manchester City versus Sunderland. And I'll let you start on this because I've got a few opinions on Guardiola's play, but I'm not too impressed so far. Although it's only one game, I'll give him that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
was
too
to
impressed.
say, one game in, Man City were absolutely awful. Sunderland, it's very hard to say, but Man City got the early goal, and after that, they didn't do anything. They didn't seem like they were anywhere near the sort of team they should be. And then Sunderland pulled one back, and all of a sudden, it's panic stations everywhere. And it took Paddy McNair to score an own goal on his debut. What a debut that is! To give Man City the win. I mean, he must be a Man City fan inside. But, you know, it just needed a little bit more from Pep Guardiola's team. They just didn't really look like they were gelling together as well, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Sunderland can certainly take a lot out of the game. Like, considering they lost Sam Allardyce, their tactician, David Moyes did very well to get something out of it, but, you know, to only lose 2-1.
Yeah.
Is a decent result against Man City, to say the least, especially for a side like Sunderland.
I think the positive Man City is that they ground out a win. They weren't good. They had loads of chances. They missed loads of chances. I mean, there was times where they just one more pass would have given them an open goal. There are times where one less pass would have given them a pretty decent chance at scoring. I think the worrying thing is that although you could say, yeah, they still won, they are playing against a Sunderland team, and I think the good thing for Man City is that there's not many teams like Sunderland that will sit back, get really good, you know, results sitting back like that, and have a player like Jermaine Defoe who is crucial and clinical both inside and outside the area at a team that could be battling relegation. Because the thing is with Sunderland, they could do that all game. You give the ball to Jermaine Defoe anywhere within 30 yards, you know he's got a decent chance of getting it on target. And with Joe Hart, Mr. Slippy Hands, and Willie Caballero, well, Willie Caballero just about says it all, really. It's too attacking as well. As much as people can say this and that and the other, I don't like David Silva playing in central midfield. I don't like
I
the
was
fact...
about to say that was a very attacking lineup. The fact that David Silva was in centre mid is basically exposing Fernandinho by himself.
I mean, it did look... I mean, I watched Monday Night Football, and I got a little bit of insight from that, is that they did point out that Pep Guardiola will work 5 in front of the ball, 5 behind the ball. It does look to see if it's going to work, but I still think the way they play against bigger teams, I think it could be costly, personally.
Against teams that aren't going to just sit back and let them come at them, it's going to be a very end-to-end sort of game.
Yeah.
I personally don't think that this style of football can work in the Premier League. I mean, but we'll have to wait and see. I just think that there's too much competition. You know, you look at the German league, he's been managing there for the past years, and the Spanish league. There's a few teams you've got to be worried about, and that's about it. But in the Premier League, I mean, next week, Man City have got Stoke. Now, Stoke are a very good attacking side. It's going to be very interesting to see if that style of football works against them.
I think, well, Stoke looked worrisome against Middlesbrough. We both said would go down, which is worrying for us. But City, I think they could have a good season. And I, received a huge amount of stick, over 50 dislikes on my Premier League predictions video, just for saying City would finish in 6th and United finish in 7th. For City, I still maintain something like that could happen, because even then, against Sunderland, they could get hurt. against teams like that, because all you've got is like against Hull, for example. If Hull sit back like they did against Leicester, against Manchester City, and Manchester City just can't break them down, one ball over the top, and admittedly, yes, you've got Collar at the back, who's a left back, could be could get a few legs on him, could be quite pacey. Same with John Stones. You send Abel Hernandez, or if push comes to shove, Diamonde, up and over the defence. You're going to have the keeper coming out constantly, giving away throw-ins, allowing someone or any team to push up, and I feel like it will hurt them in the end. It could work really well. It could also hurt them. I'm sort of meh about it. I need to see more. But again, we're judging on one game. There's not really much you can say apart from they played risky football. It worked for some parts. They were poor in other areas, and I just need to see more time before I make a conclusive opinion on whether City are going to do well or not. But I'd say you need another midfielder. Or Yaya Toure in there. Yaya Toure instead of David Silva. I feel like you've got a nice balance to the team there. Oh
yeah, you certainly got a nice balance in the team if you have Yaya Toure in there, but the thing is Yaya Toure hasn't got the legs for the Premier League anymore.
Yeah, that is true. that is worryingly true for City. Fernando. Chuck him there.
Fernando, well, yeah. He's also not exactly the quickest either, though.
Yeah, that's a good point. He's a tank, he's not Nigel de Jong. If someone gets past him, he'll just go and fly kick him. Be like, oh, you ain't doing that. But overall, Sunderland, I feel like they might get a bit worryingly close to relegation, but I don't think it'll bother them this season. Looking at that, I feel like, although they're playing against Man City, yes, they only had 23% possession. That'd be the case for all small teams going to the Etihad, because it's the way Pep Guardiola likes to play. And I think Sunderland, it just shows how vital, even now, Jermaine Defoe will be, even at his age, because he was, again, give him a chance, he'll score. City gave him a chance and he scored.
Yeah, I think there's at least another 4 teams that looked worse than Sunderland this weekend.
Well, I'd like to put one of them in there, but we'll get to them in a sec. Quickly move on, because I don't want to spend too much on this. It wasn't really the best of games. Bournemouth versus Manchester United ended Bournemouth 1, Manchester United 3. Manchester United scored 3 goals. Rooney scored 1, Mata scored 1, soon to be sold, and Ibrahimovic scored 1 from long range. And there's a lot to say good things. They didn't play Mkhitaryan. Paul Pogba was banned. They could get a lot better. But it was the typical Jose Mourinho performance, capitalise on mistakes, and just generally quite a boring game for me.
It was so boring.
I mean, there was nothing in the first half to go on except when Mata chased down a loose pass and scoring. I mean, the second goal came from Martial completely mishitting a shot, might add. And loads of people in FPL are going mad about, Martial had 2 assists, it's going to be like for the rest of the season. His first one was a mishit volley so bad it went to Wayne Rooney, who was well away from the goal. A credit to Wayne Rooney, it was a good header.
Yeah, for getting that on target, he did quite well.
Yeah, considering us going back and all the weight and everything. And the second one, he was running with the ball, touched it a bit too much, and then Ibrahimovic took over in the middle of the park. And he got an assist from that. It's not as if he just basically David Beckham's 2 fantastically whipped crosses for Rooney and Ibra. It was just accidents. Yep. So nothing to write home. I think he looked really distant in that game personally to Martial.
He didn't look like he was in the game at all.
I think he's still pissed off about getting number 9 taken from him.
Yeah, he's number 11 now. Imagine being number 11.
God, who would want that?
But yeah, I thought he looked quite distant. To be honest, he's like their only pacey player in that attacking lineup. And he just didn't seem like he was involved whatsoever.
Yeah, and another slight worrying thing is that United, I think they need to be sorry. I mean, admittedly, yes, they're missing Chris Smalling, but it's a goal conceded, and I feel like they would have liked to get a clean sheet. And in the future, I feel like Man United could be fun. I think that is the one I'm probably pretty sure on. I will get wrong because I think they played pretty well, boring football pretty well. With Pogba, maybe Mkhitaryan in, they could be an absolute force to be reckoned with, even with Jose Mourinho's boring football. Because if you give the ball away anywhere apart from Man United's defence, you have got the likes of Pogba attacking you, Pogba to pick it up, or you've got Rooney to pick it up, Martial to pick it up, you've got Ibra to pick it up, Mkhitaryan to pick it up. Either 5 of them are enough to shoot from range, score, shoot in box, score. So it's worrying for any other teams, but I'm not so impressed with the football. It's really boring. That's all I've got to say on it, really.
Yeah, that Charlie Daniels, Adam Smith goal.
Oh, it was a very good finish, in fairness. Took it away from himself, and I thought, he's just going to smack it, it's going to get blocked. But it was a really good finish, and I was quite surprised by it, because I thought, maybe a comeback will happen, and I thought, no, hold on a minute, watching Jose Mourinho team. So it ended
Yeah.
the way it was, and all hope was dashed out. But I feel like we've basically covered that. Bournemouth, they've come up against a pretty good attacking lineup. I mean, not many other teams are going to have the likes of Ibra this season, apart from Man City with Aguero, Tottenham with Kane, and even Leicester. I don't think Vardy will be on it all the time this season. We've seen by that he played decently. He capitalised on a mistake in a Capital One Cup, Community Shield, and missed loads of chances in the whole game against Hull.
Hull of all teams, with Jake Livermore at the back, don't forget.
With Jake Livermore at the back, and there's so many memes like Jake Livermore at the back, and it's just Vardy having a pass, he's snorting WKD. How can you do that? Jamie Vardy knows, no one else knows, and he was shit. But I think Bournemouth, they could be fine. They'll scrape it, but they could be fine looking at that performance. I mean, they've added a few players since then, so it'll be interesting to see how they go in. And also, no Max Gradel, he's on the bench, surprisingly for me. That's the one thing that I was quite disappointed about.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was a bit interesting. I hope Bournemouth don't struggle, but they didn't look good. They didn't take to the game like everyone thought they would. Everyone thought they would go. They would try and attack. You haven't got much to lose at home to Man United. Everyone thought they'd go in for it, but they didn't. They sat back. They let Man United come at them, and then they paid the dividends for that.
Yeah, well, I think we've basically covered that. And now on to an absolute goalfest in Arsenal versus Liverpool. And there is a lot to cover, a lot of pissed off Arsenal fans, a lot of happy Liverpool fans, and also it's going to be their year. It's going to be Liverpool's year after that one. Tell you.
I don't think it is going to be Liverpool's year.
No, I'm just doing an impression of all the Liverpool fans.
We can't have a Leicester 2 years in a row.
Oh, banter. But Liverpool did look good. I think Liverpool looks scarily good because I think it's the likes of the counter-attacking play. And I think that's where City could get really hurt against a team like Liverpool because, against Sunderland, you've got Jermaine Defoe. If you mark out Jermaine Defoe, you're generally not going to be that bothered apart from when he finds a little bit of space. Liverpool looks scarily good because, although without Daniel Sturridge, I think that helps them because their 6 midfielders were Henderson playing the holding midfielder role, not ideal, but hey-ho, he did a job, not a very good one. Then you've got Wijnaldum, Lallana, Coutinho, Mane and Firmino, all running rings around defenders, all playing fluidity. You could have Lallana end up at the front, you could have Firmino in holding midfield. It is just so fluid and so horrifically disgusting that they could really hurt teams. And admittedly, they played against an Arsenal team that was, needing, a few signings, let's say, but I feel like it was a really good attacking performance, a really good attacking performance in Liverpool.
It was by far my favourite game of the weekend.
Yeah.
Real good game. I thought that Liverpool's attack was formidable. Coutinho looked very good. About time he sort of returns to a bit of decent form. I thought the Sadio Mane goal was a very, very good goal. And it was nice to see Adam Lallana get on the score sheet as well, because he had a very good Euros and didn't deserve, to be in that sort of England team, to be honest, because it was shit. But anyway, Arsenal though, what happened? You take a 1-0 lead at home, and then you concede 4 without response. This is not acceptable. You could say that it's their defence, it wasn't strong enough, didn't have the right players there, or you could say they literally just haven't bought whatsoever in the market and they're now paying the price for it. This will be the first year that Arsenal don't finish top 4 for a very long time. I can guarantee that.
I think it's scary. It's scary for Arsenal, but I've looked at it from one side and I thought they need to buy in the market. But I looked at it from the other side and thought, well, in fairness, that it kind of, that the defensive performance wasn't their fault because they've got Koscielny out through lack of match fitness / injury. They've got Gabriel and Mertesacker out injured. So that's their first 3 centre-backs injured. You look at, every single Premier League club, I think barring Man City, who have a multitude of left centre-backs for some reason, you take their best 3, any team's best 3 centre-backs out, and what are you left with? For example, let's look at West Ham. You take, let's say Reed gets out injured, Collins gets out injured, Ogbonna gets out injured. What do you have in centre-back left?
Oxford and Burke.
That's the worse, in fact, I'd say, than Chambers and
Holding.
No,
I would agree. The 3 missing centre-backs is a big issue. But I'm not saying that they've had a lot of bad luck at centre-back. But it still shouldn't excuse I mean, they've still got a world-class goalie, a world-class right-back, a decent left-back, and surely they should have someone in there to... I don't know, I mean, it's not so much that they've conceded so many goals, it's more to the fact of going forward, they didn't look strong. Sanchez hardly got the ball.
Yeah, Sanchez was worryingly distant in that game.
He was
barely
very
saw him on
distant.
the ball.
Yes, you could say that Ozil would unlock a defence with a single pass, but you can't rely on one player for an entire year.
Yeah, well, that's the worrying thing. But the positive is that you've had, without Giroud, who I still think Arsenal fans really do underrate him, and his goals are vital in seasons. You've also got Özil as well, Sanchez, who potentially isn't up to match fitness, but I think you've got to give him a bit of doubt to get back in the season. Without those three players, you've got Walcott who scored, Oxlade-Chamberlain who came on and scored. Those two in themselves, last season, looked horrific. There is a dog barking outside, and he is so loud. But I'm going to try and ignore it, but I doubt I'll probably have to go close the windows. But they both scored. They looked good. Chambers somehow scored. I'll tell you what, I'll be right back. That dog is getting louder.
He's killing it. He's going to kill... That was his gun. He's just killed it.
Ah, sorry, I had to close the window because Diego Costa was making too much noise. Where was I? Oh yeah, they both scored, so it's looking good for Arsenal in that sense because two really underperforming players scored what could have been vital goals, but it didn't come back, unfortunately. But they still need to buy. I think they're still missing another attacker just because Welbeck, sick note. Here 1 minute, gone the next. I feel like you just need another central midfielder, and they need probably, if I'm going to be honest, another centre back because Gabriel and Mertesacker, they're not exactly good first team centre backs. I mean, Koscielny needs someone to partner him, someone almost like Company, just to really just chuck himself in the way, almost like a young John Terry, just to get himself in the way and shove everything in front of him. Or James Collins, yeah, or James Collins. Some of the finishing quality of James Collins would be really nice. Yeah. But both teams, I think it's highlighted that they can score goals, but I think it's highlighted also that they're both shit at defending. And Alberto Moreno, how on earth he is still playing in left back for Liverpool, I don't know.
It is beyond me. He was awful again this weekend.
I mean, he made about 2 or 3 mistakes before he gave away the penalty. Then he gave away the penalty, Mignolet saved his arse, and then a minute later he was out of position and gave away the goal. I've never seen such awful defending.
It wasn't just that he was out of position. He was so far out of position against a winger that likes to get in behind the defence. Surely, I mean, this isn't me saying anything against Klopp, but Klopp will have had this conversation with him saying, you need to watch Theo Walcott because he will get in behind you. And then, what's he done? He's just let it happen.
Well, I doubt. Really weirdly, I sort of had to double take when I watched the game because they said Alberto Moreno, first team left back, James Milner isn't fit. I thought, hold on a minute, when did he start playing left back? Yeah. No comment? No? James Milner's left back?
Really? Has he been playing left back?
Apparently, the commentator said, well, I've definitely heard it. The commentator said, first team left back, James Milner isn't fit enough.
Right. That's news to me.
Yeah, news to me as well. So any FPL players, don't put James Milner in your team. Get him out because £6.5 million for a fullback that isn't going to get 4 points for clean sheets is not worth it. But I think we've discussed enough. Liverpool, they need to sign an actual defender that knows how to defend. Arsenal need to sign a defender that knows how to defend. I feel like I'm saying the same thing for both teams a lot.
Yes, it does seem to be saying that.
But we've got one more game that needs to be discussed. And
West Brom 1, Crystal Palace 0.
Smash and grab from Tony Pulis, Big Tony. And I write notes for this very briefly before we go on. I've got Let's Talk Football episodes 2. Then I've got Discuss Results, and I've got the 4 main ones. Hull versus Leicester, Man City versus Sunderland, Bournemouth versus Man United, and Arsenal versus Liverpool. And then my next thing on here is Unleash Joe for 2 hours on West Ham result. So, go.
I'm thoroughly disappointed. West Ham were quite frankly the worst team that played this weekend, in my opinion. I think that we were absolutely awful. We didn't deserve anything out of the game. However, the fact that Costa scored when he shouldn't have been on the pitch has frustrated me a rather large amount. How he was not sent off is beyond me for what was a dangerous and reckless challenge where he's studied the goalkeeper in his leg, already on a yellow card, and this is also Diego Costa, might I add. How he stayed on the pitch, I do not know. Now, if he was off the pitch, would they have won? Maybe. Would we have drawn? A little bit more of a chance, but we shouldn't have won and we wouldn't have deserved to win if we did. But at the end of the day, the score was 2-1. If someone said to me a few weeks ago that we would lose 2-1 to Chelsea on the first game of the season, I would have gone, you know what, that's not too bad. But the fact that we didn't play well it's disappointed me. And if Bilic, I know you're watching, if you put Antonio in right back again, I might cry. I might actually cry. Did you see his face when he got subbed off? Did you see Antonio's face when he got subbed off? He looked like a distraught child that was just told he couldn't have a new game. Like, he was so not disappointed, but he just looks like he's got no confidence whatsoever. You need to start playing him in his actual position before he just goes completely AWOL. I mean, you're just going to end up annoying him. And he was one of our best players last year by far.
Yeah, I think that's the thing you need to remember. I do feel sorry for him, Antonio, because I know, because I've experienced Antonio firsthand. I've watched him play live twice. I watched him score a fantastic goal when he got promoted up to the Championship a good few years ago now against Wickham, I believe. And he is so good going forward. And I've mentioned this point every time. I've never seen a striker or a person playing in a striker sign for a club and go into right back. I mean, we almost saw it with Klukas, but no, I've never seen it, and I still don't get it. And I do feel sorry for him because I know he's got talent, and it's just, you know, that going forward he's such a good player, but he's not a right back.
Well, it's like I've said, he is the best, in my opinion, the best English right winger that there is, and he's being wasted in right back. And the fact that apparently Faguli got injured as well before the run up to the game, it questions it even more to me as to why he wasn't pushed on. And Byram, imagine being Sam Byram, an actual right back, being dropped to the bench by a winger. Sam Byram, when he came on, apparently had a really good, I say a really good game. He had a pretty good game. Why can't we just wake up and smell the roses and just put Byram at right back? And if Byram gets injured, I'm sorry, but yeah, Antonio, you're going to have to play in right back again. I think it's disgraceful. How have we not signed another right back if we're not going to play? If we're going to, I can't.
I think Antonio in right back could work if you're going to play three at the back, because that way, almost like Ronald Koeman does, because he has Baines there, and I think he had James McCarthy there when he played his game against Tottenham. But that way he can attack and he can also get back and try and defend for all his life. But yeah, I do feel sorry for him. I also feel sorry for Sam Byram because I feel like he does deserve a chance. He's waited a long time. He's now got his chance. You know, you've pushed Jenkinson out. Tompkins is also the other right back. He probably could have played there. Is gone. You've got another left back. So you don't have to play left back. There is no reason for Antonio still being playing there. And I think if any other game, playing against a normal Premier League team, like an average Premier League team, same standard as West Ham, you think, oh, okay, Antonio there might not hurt you. But I feel like the fact he was up against Hazard, and Hazard that, might I say, we haven't gone to Chelsea yet, looked phenomenally good. I mean, he was back to the old Hazard of before last season. He was incredible. He was taking on people. He was running with pace, something we didn't see until the last 2 seconds of last season. Really highlighted how much or how out of Antonio's depth he is at right back, and that was, I think where it started clicking for people that Antonio obviously isn't a right back. Hopefully, at least.
It is quite obvious that he's not a right back. Yeah, I mean, I did think that Chelsea played okay. I think that the fact that we didn't play well made them look even better.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
Hazard was very good. It's got to be said. I think Kante had a decent game. And then Michy came on, and so did Moses to try and hurt us as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking to the next game now. We've got Europa League on Thursday, Bournemouth next Sunday. we have to get 3 points at home against Bournemouth, as otherwise, I will say it now, I think we're going to be in a little bit of trouble.
A little bit of trouble where?
Across the pitch. I mean, I think that we didn't give any service to Andy Carroll for 90 minutes. It took Payet to come on for us to actually start creating anything, which is another issue, might I add. I mean, if we're relying on one player to create all our chances, we're going to struggle big time. I've said it already about Mahrez.
Also, Ayew came off injured as well.
I was about to say, Ayew got injured. I don't know the extent of that injury yet. Hopefully it's short term. Faguli has picked up a slight hamstring injury. He's got a chance of playing the next game, but it's a bit iffy. And other than that, Lanzini's still injured, so it's not looking good at the moment, the early stages for our season.
Yeah, I can echo them. And I think the fact you've got you played three sort of a 4-3-1 or a 4-5-1, if anything, with wingers. Whereas with Andy Carroll, you'd be playing those balls up to him. If he's knocking them down, there would be wingers up there with him. You also have Payet knocked down to. That Payet position was moved foot deeper against Chelsea. I think that's why Andy Carroll, although many people could say, "Oh, look, he's useless," but if your game is to knock it down to your team and your team is nowhere to be seen, you can't really play well.
No, I mean, as soon as I saw that lineup, I knew we'd lost. I mean, Antonio Valencia. Imagine him playing for us.
Cool.
Valencia playing was just beyond me. Enner Valencia once again seemed to have another poor game. However, Nordveit was absolutely shocking.
He was. He gave away the ball multiple occasions. He wasn't really good on the ball. He didn't really look too good, to be honest. Worryingly. No.
To be honest, and of course we had Collins instead of Collins and Reed at the back, instead of having our best centre-back, Ogbonna playing. Apparently Gokhan though came on. I didn't even know he was on the pitch. That's how much of an impact he had.
Yeah, to be honest, I heard that Ayew was injured, and I thought, oh, okay. I didn't even realise until midway through the second half, I was like, hold on a minute, someone came on for him, and I haven't even noticed who it was yet.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I was wondering why West Ham Central was saying Gokhan was awful. And I've now realised after looking at the lineups that he actually came on in the 35th minute. So, that's awful, the fact that I didn't even know he was on the pitch.
Yeah.
But, Collins' goal was nice, though. Although I have to say,
good finish.
I don't know who was on the line. I think it was Oscar. What was he thinking? Trying to do an overhead kick on the line to clear it. If he just stepped to the right and headed it, that's still 1-0 to Chelsea.
Yeah.
It's beyond me what he was trying to do. But, it did us a favour, I guess. So.
It's unfair to judge Oscar because I feel like as much as Hazard looked really, really good, he didn't put the ball in the back of the net apart from the penalty. That is one minor flaw, but he was creating chances, he was looking dangerous. That's positive. I think Oscar, the surprise inclusion ahead of Cesc Fabregas, did look really good as well. I felt like he really looks good.
Apart from the only negative to his game was his stupid attempt at a clearance.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was thinking. Sorry.
Apart from that, I think it is a generally good performance from Chelsea. I feel like you need to play against a team that's going to actually try and play football with them for us to judge them. Is my opinion.
Chelsea versus Man City will be a very boring or interesting game.
Boring, 0-0. I'm going straight. Hold on. No. I'm not saying 0-0 because the last time I said 0-0 for two big clubs fighting it out, there were 7 goals. So I'm going 8-all.
No, because I would rather you said it was 0-0. Because then we might actually see a few goals.
Yeah, I'll go for 0-0 then. 0-0. Come on, Chelsea. Come on, Man City.
Yeah.
Have it.
I mean, overall though, what's your opinion on the first week of the Premier League? Because I thought it was absolutely boring.
There were good aspects to it. I mean,
I liked Sunday. Sunday was really good. That's 3:00 kickoffs were all boring.
Yeah, there is that.
That's what I was mainly aiming at.
But no, I think it was a really good game. Yeah, but that means it was a good, highly fought game.
It doesn't. Middlesbrough Stoke wasn't highly fought.
It's just banter, but yeah, there were other games this weekend, but there were good things. I mean, admittedly, you've got like 7 new managers coming in, so it wasn't going to be a whole complete goal fest. It wasn't going to be entertaining football. It was more trying to get their get their feet on the ground. But the other games, Burnley 0, Swansea 1.
I
Andre
felt sorry
Gray
for Burnley.
didn't really, although he had 4 shots, he had 4 attempts, he looked lively.
On another day, it could have been 4 goals.
Yeah, and then you've got Palace 0, West Brom 1. Typical Pulish smash and grab. All you've got to say about that. The only other thing,
Palace spend loads of money and not succeed.
typical Palace spend almost 30 million on Benteke, get rejected.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, West Brom smash and grab. That's all I've got to say about that. Everton 1, Tottenham 1. Lucky free kick from Everton. Lamela looking good. Have to say, had a good game. Everton, on the other hand, I feel like there's still moulding work to do. Idrissa Gueye, by the way, we talked about him last time. He did look really good. I'll say that right now. He looked really good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Why not?
I mean,
I don't know. I'm not his fan.
I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan.
But no, he did look really good. Then you've got Middlesbrough versus Stoke.
Yeah, that's...
What is there to say about that? Alvaro Negredo scored and Jordan Shaqiri scored a pretty decent goal.
Well, apparently it was a good goal from Negredo, wasn't it? Or am I mistaken there?
I think it was Shaqiri's goal that was good. Unless Negredo scored a good goal as well. But I know Shaqiri...
I can't remember if they said he was turning back the years or something.
Might have been with Negredo. I'm not sure. But anyway, I know that was 1-1. And then Southampton 1, Watford 1. So, well, I think, looking at things...
Southampton should have won.
I mean, I got told off by Fox in the Box, FM YouTuber, or no, FM Twitch streamer. We talked a bit about it on stream recently about me saying Watford would go down. A lot of people saying it because they've got a new manager. I said it because they've got a new manager unknown to Premier League, but then that was the same with Quique Sanchez Flores. This season, though, they haven't signed enough players for me. It's all about signing. We know what happens to teams that don't sign players. But they got a point in a game they shouldn't have got a point when they had 5 shots, 1 on target, and Southampton 24, 6 on target. So just about says there's one-way traffic for that one. But Southampton, they'll get better with time. Huh?
Redmond was good.
Redmond was good, and I think Thierry Henry was like, "Nah, you can't liken him to cheer. You can't liken him to no." Someone was like, "No, you can't liken him to Thierry Henry without playing a game. That's unfair." And he scored quite a good goal, and looks really good. Also, it's worth noting, although he didn't really do much of some FBL points or anything in general, Tadic looked pretty good. He was quiet for most of it, but in sparks he looked good. So there was that, and that's basically everything. Actually, I just realised because we discussed every other game.
Oh, god damn it.
What?
No, I was joking.
It does leave Man United on top, though. Man United in first, Liverpool in second, Chelsea in third.
I don't think does it really matter
I'll say
now?
that the table right now looks like what could be the ending top 3. Also the ending top 4 with Hull in fourth.
If you said the ending of the season, looking at Hull in fourth,
Hull,
I was going to slap you.
I'm gonna blitz this season. I've picked them to go first. I know what you're talking about.
I mean, although Leicester 15th, that is close.
You're almost there. West Ham 17th. Ooh,
we stayed up.
But we're going to move on now. We've got, let's see, we've been talking for 43 minutes. My God, that's a long time. Going to talk to you about a few transfers. So we did the transfer special. We recorded it before Paul Pogba was announced.
Pogba's here.
Pogba's here. Another signing is Bartosz Kapustka. I think we've done that one. Diaboji, we've done that one. John Stones, we pretty much discussed it in it, although we didn't confirm it. He looks like to be a good signing for Guardiola. Then I'm going to move on to a few transfers that happened recently. So I'll move on to Ashley Williams going to Everton. I think we pretty much discussed that one, as it was basically
it was medical time, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, and we've basically done through that one. Jonathan Callery, West Ham from Deportivo on loan.
Yeah, he was good at full manager, wasn't he?
Yeah, as I was saying, I tweeted out today saying, a certain J&O United would have liked that because he looked good when he played for him in West Brom, but...
Callery, yeah. I mean, apparently he's meant to be quite good in real life as well. They say he's similar to Aguero, but he just doesn't have the fancy footwork.
So I think it's too
closer
quick,
to a more Higuain.
It's too quick to judge because he's obviously joined from a team that isn't well known, very well known. But I'd like to say so was Lanzini when he came in on loan. And look at Lanzini now; he's really liked by West Ham.
Injured. Oh,
injured.
Right.
Injured. Jonathan Carey comes in, breaks his leg. Well, see you later, mate. See you next season. But another one is Stephen Defour.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm pretty sure he's a Belgian international, I guess you could say.
Joined from Anderlecht to Burnley for a 8 million reported fee.
It's probably not a bad signing for him, to be honest.
He'll do a good job.
Yeah, he'll do well for them. And they did sell David Jones to Sheffield Wednesday today, so
they've got to try and fill that. I mean, it's not exactly filling the hole. I mean, David Jones is a fantastic player. Yeah, you don't see many more players like that. Stephen Defour, he's going to do a job, but he ain't nothing like David Jones, like. But no, he'll do a job, and I think it could really help Burnley this season. And it's something they haven't really done before, which is buy it from outside of the Premier League, which is interesting to see Sean Dyche do. For me, another one, I think you'll like this one. Yannick Bolasie to Everton for 25 million.
I think that's the biggest waste of money you'll ever see.
Positives,
25 million.
Well, negatives is 25 million. He's
double buy it.
He's very on and off.
Let that sink in.
Positive is that Ronald Koeman is very much like a it's very much like a Mane and Leroy Koeman. Ronald Koeman very much like playing Sane. Looked very, very good.
Bolasie is a good winger. I will be honest with that. If
Well,
he
on
is
his
a little
day.
bit inconsistent,
Yeah.
but 25 million, come on.
Another one. This one is my favourite twins in football.
Mark Wilson.
I was going to go to Fabio Da Silva. Middlesbrough, joining Middlesbrough from Cardiff for a 2 million reported fee.
No, I was going to go Mark Wilson first.
Mark Wilson is also a good signing for Bournemouth, I'd have to say.
Yeah.
I do like
And
Mark Wilson.
More interesting news, shock, Chelsea have sent 2 players out on loan.
Who are they?
Jamal Blackman and Izzy Brown.
Oh, there's a shock. People saying,
Both in one day as well.
Isaiah Brown, he'll be the future of Chelsea. Ha ha ha. In 10 years' time when they stop sending him out on loan. Jokes.
Yeah.
But I think we've discussed basically about everything, haven't we?
Fabio,
Decent
2
signing.
million.
Fabregas
Borja
left out.
Baston, he moved.
Here's one thing we talked about. Joe Hart. Where does Joe Hart sit in Man City's future?
Doesn't seem to have one at the moment, does he? I'll tell you where he'll be. He'll be at West Ham in a year or 2.
West Ham.
That's what tends to happen.
Getting played beneath Darren Randolph.
I'll tell you what surprised me. Donald Love started for Sunderland the other day.
Yeah, that was quite a shock. But I don't think they've really got another right back.
What happened to Phil Bardsley?
Oh, he's a Stoke player. He's been a Stoke player for some years now, hasn't he?
I thought he played for Sunderland.
I'm almost sure he's been Stoke for some good years. I mean, he might have been there a few years ago, but
I need to FPL this.
I'm doing it as we speak. Phil Bardsley. He joined Stoke in the 2014-2015 season as his first season at Stoke. From there he was at Sunderland for a long time, and also Manchester United.
So it's 2 years ago.
Basically, yeah.
That's not that long ago. Plus, they wear the same colours, so you can't blame me.
That's very true. That's very true. But they don't have any more right backs. But it is worth noting that good choice for FPL possibly. £4 million playing first team football. I mean, there are better options at 4 million, but worth keeping an eye on. Also, to finish off, I saw a tweet from some Twitter account that said their prediction was Paddy McNair to come on and score a last minute own goal to let John O'Shea sleep easy, knowing his legacy will live on. And literally, Paddy McNair came on and scored a last minute own goal. I was like, no,
God.
some things are meant to happen. But yeah, we've chatted shit for a long time. I think it's about time we stopped. 15 minutes, it's decent length, I think.
15?
50.
Oh, 15.
Don't worry. We spent 15 minutes on the first game,
Time
I
went
think.
slow.
But I'm holding on. I'm gonna be... That's the wrong song anyway. Thank you all for watching. It's been a bit of a shit shack. Not really planned. And I'm also very, very tired. And Joe sounds like he's dying for the 3rd episode in a row.
Oh, yeah, because we split the first one in 2.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll have a voice again, though, next week.
I'll let you intro next week and it'll be, what's going on with the show? Welcome. It's like, oh, goodness Christ.
Although I say that, but I have been told that apparently this can last for about 2 weeks.
Well, we have to get some Stephen Hawking voice or text to voice thing. Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Football. Ha ha ha. But thank you all for watching nonetheless. Hopefully you have all enjoyed. Leave your thoughts down below. In fact, if you're still here, leave any questions or comments and we'll read them out in next episode. Should have said that at the start, and we'll do next time. But thank you all for watching. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Any last words, Joe?
He won't remember to say it next time.
Thank you very much. And peace.